Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's 12:02, so let's get started. Earlier this year, we launched the DQA Dispatch newsletter, and one of the most popular sections has been DQA tips and tricks. Many of these aren't new features, believe it or not. They're simply things that may not be well known to all users. Whether you've been using DQA for 6 months or 6 years, we hope you leave with something new. Today's goal isn't to teach you everything about DQA, it's to help you get home a little earlier.
That's right, Lisa. We've received dozens of requests and questions alongside the webinar registrations. But rather than jumping around the platform, we've organized many of those questions into a few different stories. So, for the purposes of today, we're going to use a demo environment with sample data. So, no PHI is going to be shown, we promise. And Lisa's going to play the role of our DQA users and ask your questions. So let me bring up the demo.
So, Jamie, if I am a decision support analyst and my director stopped by my desk and asked, how many TERP procedures have we done so far this year? Where would I begin?
It's a great question, and there are a few different spots you could start. Under case level reports, we do have the QBP report. It is a case level listing, so you could always filter down or group that. You could also go through the inpatient or outpatient visit listing reports. But the quickest way to get there is going to be under summary reports, QBP summary report. This is going to list all of the QBPs that have been performed and coded at the hospital year to date. So I could scroll through and find the one, but we know that this isn't always easy to find. So if we go up to filters here and I add a parameter for QBP, I can add this, I can start typing TERP, or if I know that there are multiple QBPs I'm going to have to report back, I can change this option from is to in, and then I can add my QBPs. So if I want to add cancer surgery TERP and I want to add abdominal other, I'm going to add those in. I'm going to make sure that only the ones I need on this report are showing, so I can just X out and then update. Now we can see that year to date, 27 TERP bladder QBPs have been coded and 15 abdominal other.
Amazing. So now I have found my answer, but I know I'm going to be asked this again next month. Do I really have to rebuild this report each time?
It's a really common question, and you definitely don't have to rebuild the report every single time. We want you to be able to build it once and reuse it. So to save it and make it part of your regular workflow, once I've got all of the adjustments that I need in my report, I'm going to go up to the bookmark button and it's going to give me this permanent link. If I just go back to the summary report through the menu, it's always going to default back. So I can save this and send it to another DQA user at my hospital. I could add it to my workbook. I could open in a new tab and make it a favorite in my preferred browser. Or if this is something that we know others in our department at our hospital are also going to want to use, I can add this to the navigation. So clicking through there, I'm going to choose what menu I want to add it into. I'm going to add a label. So we're going to call this terped and abdominal other. When I go to save, close and refresh, this is now available in my menu.
Amazing. I just wanted to add that adding reports to the navigation menu is an admin function. So if you don't see that option, your manager can help with approving this access.
Great.
Okay, so now we've submitted the data, but 5 minutes later, I have an email pop up in my inbox. Leadership now wants to know how many TERP QBPs would we have done in previous years?
This could be a really difficult question to answer because chirp QVPs didn't exist in previous methodology years. However, just because the methodology is changing every year doesn't mean your historical data needs to stay frozen in time. And there's a fairly simple way to do this in the platform. Every year, we're reaching out to our clients and we're asking for your ChiHi regroup files. We're not only using these in the annual analysis that Matt was talking about in last month's webinar, but we're also making this available to you, and it's all part of your base DQA license. So once again, going into my favorite filters button, I'm going to change the grouper year. Right now, it's on discharge year. I want to change this to 25-26. This is when the TERP QBPs came into effect. And I might want to change my visit reporting date so it goes back a couple more years. We change that up. We're going to update our report. And now it's giving me total volumes over the last number of years in 25-26 methodology. However, it's probably not the level of granularity that we're looking for. So I can take this one step further. Clicking into settings now, it's currently grouped by QBP. I want to add another grouper for fiscal year. And I want to see QBP before fiscal year in my report. So I can just drag and drop. When I update this now, it's giving me by QBP total volume for 24-25 and 25-26 for each of my QBPs.
Speaking of methodology updates, recently the 26-27 CCO methodology came out. I think it'll be worth quickly walking through our process. So 3TERRA doesn't receive updates directly from ChiHi. Once new methodology comes out, our clients send us the new specs. We pass that over to our engineering team who review what changes are needed for the calculations in DQA. From there, our QA team validates the results internally, and we also validate with 5 to 6 hospital clients. Once everything's confirmed, we notify our clients that a new update is available for release and share any other features that are included.
Awesome. I apologize. It looks like my share screen went away here. All right. So thanks for walking us through that, Lisa. Let's move on to the next question.
All right. So I'm a manager, and coders are always telling me they've flagged cross-reference cases for manager review and added notes in DQA. What's the quickest way to find those cases and review them?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we know this comes up quite often. So let's start by going under case level reports into the cross-reference report. And right now we're only seeing 6 cases for review, but we know this can grow quite quickly. So instead of scrolling through, I can go up to filters and I'm going to add a filter for case status. I'll add that parameter and select manager review. Now it's showing us only the cases that require the manager's attention.
Great. Can we click into the case that has the notes purple there to see what the coder asked?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go through registration number. And we can go right up into our notes here. So the question is, I cannot find the documentation to support adding invasive ventilation. Manager, please help. So when we exit out of here, first step for any DQA reviewer is to go into your pending checks. This is where any checks that are attached to the case are going to be available. We see that there is a check for an invasive vent flagged in external data, likely coming from CCIS. So this is always available to you. We're going to click directly into View Data Hub. And here I can see any of the data that's attached to this visit, whether or not there's a data quality check. Under CCIS, we're seeing that the patient was in the ICU from April 28th to May the 2nd. At a high level, it's showing us 3 days documented for dialysis, 4 for CV line, but we're looking for this invasive vent. If I click into Show Daily Activity Details, it's giving me even more information here. So under ventilation, I can see that there was mechanical invasive vent documented from April 30th through the 2nd. And this can help narrow down in the documentation to ensure that we have support. When I come back here as the manager, I might want to go back into the notes, but instead of deleting the existing notes, I want to just tab down and add mine. CCIS shows in-base event starting April 30th. And I want to add my initials there. I'm going to update the note. Currently, the status is set to manager review. I might want to flip this back to health records review. But remember, DQA does not write back to anything else. So you will still have to send a message separately to the coder.
Amazing. Thanks, Jamie. This is helpful. While we're here, what other features might be worth exploring in the case overview screen?
Yeah, this screen is packed with different tools to help you understand what happened during this visit. Starting in the top right here, this length of stay benchmark comparison, it's comparing the case's acute length of stay against similar cases across Canada. So these are going to be cases that have the same CMG grouper and resource intensity level. And if you didn't catch that, you can always hover over and it's going to give you a little reminder. So we can see that similar cases, average acute length of stay is 3.8 days, but current visit is 188 acute days. Next, we could always go into the timeline tab. Timeline tab, especially for longer visits like this, there's going to be a lot of activity that's coded. This is going to be a visual representation of any of the activity that's been coded on this record and imported into DQA. It's interactive. So if I want to see where the patient was transferred in from, where they're transferred out to, and remember, this is a demo environment, but I'm sure if you've been in the screen in your environment, you're going to see other interventions, ICU visits, all of that along the way. Next tab here is the abstract history tab. And what this is doing is it's showing every change that's been made in your abstracting system since the visit was first imported into DQA. So on the far left here, this is going to be when it first came into DQA. So when it was first marked complete and imported. If there were multiple changes, there would be different drop downs as well. It always defaults to those external parameters. So it's going to give you a little bit of a summary of everything that's been changed. From here, we can see that discharge date time and admit date time have been updated in the system.
Great. Thanks, Jamie. Could we also go through the fourth tab there? How would a user use the scenario tab?
Yeah, great question. So scenario tab is one of my favorite features, and we like to think of it as a bit of a sandbox. So what this does is it allows you to model the impact without making any changes directly in your abstracting system. Okay. So many hospitals have told us that this is a great tool to kind of have on hand when you're submitting a physician query or you're having documentation improvement discussions, because it's going to help demonstrate how improved documentation can affect that coding and reporting. On the left-hand side, we have the original case, so how it sits right now. On the right-hand side, this alternate scenario is kind of your sandbox. This is where we can make some adjustments. So if I'm reviewing and there's something that's not currently coded that I wanted to add in, I could click in the pencil. I could type in my diagnosis either by code or by name and update the type. But for the purpose of today, we're going to use this little physician icon. And I'm just going to select one at random, make it the MRDX. We see that's flipped now. And I'm going to go to the bottom and recalculate. So while this is recalculating, just want to add a little reminder that nothing here is being written back to your abstracting system. We're simply recalculating based on this hypothetical scenario. All right, So it's updated for us. We've still got the side-by-side comparison. So this is typically what we've heard is the good snip to bring back to the physician for those queries or to your internal discussions. And now we have something tangible to support those conversations. But remember, the goal here isn't to change the numbers, right? It's to demonstrate how more complete documentation leads to more accurate coding and reporting.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jamie. Let's move on to our next question. I'm a DS analyst looking to mirror a report I manually create each month, which splits OH and CCO QBPs. Can I do this in DQA?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually going to take us back to the QBP summary report. Right now, it's just showing us all of the different QBPs that have been performed and coded at the hospital. But going back into settings here, I can add another grouping. And this one, I'm going to add a QBP summary group. I'm going to add that up and I want to sort it by the QBP summary group as well. So under sorting, I can do this. We could change it from ascending or descending. I'm just going to see what it looks like this way so far. We'll update this report. And now on the far left, I've got all of my OH non-elective, elective bundled, elective, and my CCOs all together.
Jamie, I
Mhm.
remember when this feature request came in, they wanted to see a monthly trend report. So let's flow into the next question where I'm a finance analyst who needs to report GI endo weights and fit positive cases on a monthly basis. What's the quickest way to do this in DQA?
This is a very hot topic right now. And to show this one, I'm going to go into one of our trend reports. So there is a QBP trend report, so you could work these same steps, but let's go into our GI endo trend. So this is going to break down all of our GI endo procedures by index category month over month. I'm going to start in settings. And we wanted to add fit positive and total GI endo weight. Under measures here, we're going to add those measures. And I'm going to update my report, but nothing happens. There's another step that's required here, and the capability is a little buried. So we understand why this isn't super well known. Now that I've got those fields in my settings, I'm now going to click into this top right button, the show field list. It's going to show me any other measures that have been added, and I'm going to click into them. I could move them around if I want to see them in a different way, but for this purposes, we've just checked them and we're going to apply. So now it's added any fit positive and total GI endo weight by month.
Amazing. Thanks, Jamie. I have a question on the slide here.
Okay.
Now that I've got a bunch of bookmarked reports going, if my hospital changes something like a date range or program grouping, do I have to update each report one by one?
Oh man, this is a big one, and we would hate for any of the changes you're making to not be saved. So let's go back to that report that I had saved earlier. So right now we've got our year-to-date TERPed and abdominal other, but maybe I want to add my QBP summary group. Add this in, we're going to update this report. It's not going to automatically save it. There are a couple things you could do here. We could click into bookmark and add to the navigation. It's going to add a brand new report below. Maybe they have different purposes. Or what I think is the easier way to do it, and once again does require that admin user access, you're going to take this permanent link and we're going to go under Tools, Navigation Editor. This is going to override the existing report. My report lives under Summary Reports, so I've selected that menu. And I'm going to scroll down to where mine is. We've added a few other reports here as well. So in this pencil, I'm going to replace the /V forward. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to remove this handle and I'm going to save. When I go to close and refresh now and click back in, I've now updated this for all other DQA users. So you've got a couple different options here. Just remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Any of the changes you're making are going to impact all the other DQA users at your hospital. I also got a question on the side here, and I know that there were a few that came through before the session, specifically about manager reports. Unfortunately, we don't have manager reports in this demo environment, but we're happy to set up a quick call to walk through any of those questions with you, and we'll follow up with you directly afterwards. If anyone else is looking to look at anything that at a glance isn't currently in this demo environment, feel free to raise your hand. You can tell us through the survey. You can send us an email directly afterwards. We'd be happy to help with all of that. All right. I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat, so we can leave it there. If you have any other questions that weren't answered or something you want to take offline, we're more than happy to help. Please reach out to your account manager and we can schedule a brief DQA session. We've also dropped the webinar survey in the chat, and we'd appreciate if you could send us your feedback. We want to know what you'd like us to cover next. There's also still that raffle for a $50 gift card as well. So any entry gets entered into that raffle. And congratulations to our June raffle winner. We hope you all have a great afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us.